The Rugrats really were a figment of Angelica's imagination. Chucky died a long time ago with his mother. That is why Chaz is a nervous wreck all the time. The DeVilles had an abortion. Angelica couldn't figure out whether it would be a boy or a girl, thus creating the twins. Tommy was a stillborn. That is why Stu is constantly in the basement, making toys for the son who never had a chance to live. As for All Grown Up, Angelica was a bipolar schizophrenic who as a teenager became addicted to various narcotics, bringing her back to her childhood, thus creating a world in her mind that she obsessed over. Because of the time lapse between the present and the last time she interacted with her imaginary world, she made them older. Angelica was constantly taking hits of acid, so she would never have to live without her creations. To her, her creations were the only company in a judgmental world. Angelica's mum actually died of a heroin overdose. Angelica was a schizophrenic and bipolar because she was a crack baby. Drew, in his depression, married a gold-digging whore that Angelica idolized because she had fooled herself into thinking that it was her real mum. However, she always had a concept of a real mother, Cynthia. She used a Barbie doll to mirror her birth mother's image, wearing an unwashed orange dress and jacked up hair, which is why she was so attached to it. Later in life, she followed in her mother's footsteps, dying of an overdose at the age of 13, when All Grown Up was cancelled. The only Rugrat not to be a fictional character, however, was Tommy's brother, Dill. However, Angelica didn't know the difference between Dill and her creations. Dill didn't follow her commands, and after endless crying and a refusal to disappear like the others did when Angelica was angry, she hit him. He screamed a screech and chew, and Stu ran in and pulled his niece off his only child. But it was too late. Dill had a brain hemorrhage, which resulted in a deformation. As he grew up, his damage only became more evident, and by the time he was 9, in All Grown Up, he lived as an outcast, being ridiculed for his weirdness and retardation. The immense guilt over this is what caused Angelica to start using drugs, and uncreates the Rugrats briefly until her experience with the hallucinogenics. Chaz lost his mind after the death of his first wife, and was in denial that she was ever a prostitute. On a trip to Paris to find love, Chaz fell in love with a hooker named Kira. Kira once had a daughter named Kimmy, but the baby was torn from her by law due to her cocaine addiction. Upon return to America, Chaz and Kira married and she got her green card. It was a surprisingly happy and romantic story. Kira continually struggled with her addiction, but was relatively happy with her new life with Chaz. Susie was Angelica's only friend, who entertained the thought of Angelica's creations because they seemed to make her happy. She later became a psychologist and teamed up with Nickelodeon to make the Rugrats. When Angelica died of the overdose, Susie helped arrange her funeral. Because of her addictions and her mental state, Angelica was expelled from society, which led to a break with reality and her eventual death. She spent the last days of her life in the back of the school cafeteria, imagining friends around her, playing with the lives of her creations.